Today's top stories. The DPWH seeks to finish the cleanup and dredging of Manila Bay by July. Catholics are reminded to practice fasting and abstain from meat in observance of the Lenten season. A shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes in Bulacan attracts devotees seeking miracles. And learn how to spend the rest of the Holy Week in a heartfelt and meaningful way.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Manila Bay is showing signs of becoming cleaner and more conducive to marine life. With this target in mind, the DPWH plans to finish dredging and cleaning operations at the bay by July. Rom Dulfo tells us more.
The Public Works Department is looking to finish the Sagip Manila Bay cleanup works of the 1.5-kilometer area of Manila Bay in the next 3 months. 2 units of multi-purpose amphibious dredge will help complete the removal of debris, plastics, other solid wastes, and dissolved solids, or the so-called muck, with some traces of sand by July. State-of-the-art units will further fast-track cleaning between the area of U.S. Embassy to Manila Yacht Club in preparation for the upcoming rainy season. To date, about 18,000 cubic meters of muck and silt have been removed. With cleaner water, Manila Bay will soon be fit again for swimming and other contact forms of recreation. Early last month, DPWH Secretary Mark Villar officially launched desilting operations by deploying a fleet of equipment to Manila Bay's shoreline. Water quality monitoring and bathymetric surveying of the desilting sites have also been continuously conducted by the DPWH, DENR, MMDA, and the Philippine Coast Guard to monitor Manila Bay's cleanup progress. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
President Rodrigo Duterte says he would not think twice about replacing officials of the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System, or MWSS, for failing to address the water shortages in Metro Manila. In a speech during the PDP Laban campaign rally in Tuguegarao City, Duterte scolded MWSS executives for their lack of preparedness in handling the water crisis, especially during the El Nino. He stressed that he had no patience for engineers who could not address the country's water shortage immediately. Earlier, Duterte gave MWSS and water concessionaires until April 10 to submit a report on measures to address the water shortage and prevent it from recurring. Malacanang has yet to confirm if it has already received the report. MWSS Administrator Reynaldo Velasco said he is willing to resign if the water shortage problem in Metro Manila persists.
Trabaho ninyo para ng MWSS. Anak ka ng kada seasonal naagi ng El Nino. Nganong wa man na ninyo preparahe? Mapagkahuman, pag di mabot ang El Nino, wa day tubig. Hay naman day tubig sa ni kalibutan na ni. Ug wa na ko ingna manak ugma. Pagkabuntag agas na. Tawa ka tuntos dato. Sundi lang ko karong pipilak adlaw mo sunod. Kay limpyon ginako ang kanang korupsyon sa gobyerno. Ang pinakadako na kinabang dili ng ingon nga kosto na diristaas. Pasana pila ilang kitaon ang mga plantasyon.
PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde inspected preparations in bus terminals and airports to ensure security preparations ahead of the annual exodus of travelers for the Holy Week. Together with NCRPO Chief Guillermo Eleazar, Albayalde inspected the Aranate Center Bus Terminal, Victory Liner Bus Terminal in Pasay City, Naiya Terminal 3, and Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange. The PNP chief says the travelers are now more disciplined and educated as no restricted item has been seized in bus terminals. The PNP has deployed 91,000 cops nationwide to route security. Albayalde says there were no reported threats in the country so far. For his part, Eleazar ordered the 5 police districts in the metropolis to tighten security around airports, seaports, vital government and private installations, as well as places of convergence during this Holy Week. He says the PNP will secure churches which will be visited by Catholic faithful for the traditional Visita Iglesia. The public may report any suspicious person or behavior and any untoward incidents or crimes through the PIO NCRPO Facebook page at PIO NCRPO 2019, Twitter at PIO NCRPO 2019, and isumbong mo sa Team NCRPO hotlines at 0999-901-8181 or 0915-888-8181. The Department of Transportation is looking into making new city bus routes in Metro Manila following the enforcement of the ban on provincial buses in EDSA after Holy Week. The new routes will allow buses and UV Express to pick up and take passengers from and to the permanent terminals in Bulacan and Taguig and the interim terminals in Santa Rosa, Laguna, and Valenzuela City. Starting April 22nd, provincial buses are prohibited from loading and unloading passengers along EDSA as well as other major roads in Metro Manila. Bus operators will be obliged to use the Parañaque Integrated Terminal, Bus Exchange, and the interim bus terminals in Valenzuela and Santa Rosa. The DOJ questions a journalist group's conclusions on press freedom in the country, and the Supreme Court warns lower courts against issuing warrants during the election period. More on these and other news around the Metro from Miguel Hill.
The Department of Justice questioned the conclusions of the Committee to Protect Journalists from the U.S. and Alliance for Journalist Freedom on press freedom in the country. The group claims there is an increasing level of intimidation and politically motivated pressure against Filipino journalists. It cites the cases against online news site Rappler and its chief editor Maria Ressa. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says Ressa's case does not reflect the situation of all Filipino journalists, as she was facing tax-related cases and a cyber libel charge filed by a private individual. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court issued a circular telling judges to be very cautious in handing down search warrants with less than a month to go before the 2019 midterm elections. This after receiving reports that search warrants have been used by politicians to harass and malign their rival candidates. In other news, at least 4 have been killed while around 20 were wounded after the southern district of Abu Salim in Tripoli was targeted by a rocket fire by the Libyan National Army. A Filipino was injured after several residential areas in Tripoli were hit by a rocket barrage. The injured Filipino was among 5 who have asked for temporary shelter at the embassy. 19 Filipinos have so far availed of the repatriation offer by the Philippine government. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Still to come, Catholics are reminded to practice fasting and abstain from meat in observance of the Lenten season. A shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes in Bulacan attracts devotees seeking miracles. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
I think we managed to achieve a tremendous progress. A new chapter was opened in the history of our bilateral relations due to a new policy pursued by His Excellency President Duterte. First of all, I would like to emphasize that I strongly believe that Russia and the Philippines deserve to be reliable partners and close friends, objectively speaking. We did a lot to build a new solid legal basis for our cooperation on different tracks in different fields. Because unfortunately, we have never been close friends. And that's why our legal basis is not really sufficient to improve our relationship. I have already spent 4 years in your country, and that's why I have a right to state that the Philippines is a safe country, except for a very, very few regions. But as a country, the Philippines is safe. It's a beautiful country, very interesting, as I have just said. The Filipinos are very friendly and hospitable people. So this country has a great, huge economic potential. So there are all necessary preconditions for developing, establishing new partnership and friendship with this country. And all people should visit the Philippines at least one time in their life.
First of all, on behalf of the Russian Embassy to the Philippines, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to PCO Global Media for helping and assisting us to arrange the first ever media night tonight. So we were deeply impressed by the support that was done by the PCO Global Media. Thank you very much. Thank GV and all his team for everything that you have done. Thank you.
A Roman Catholic priest has called on churchgoers to exercise self-restraint by not eating any kind of meat as part of fasting and abstinence this Holy Week. Father Chris Arthur Militante, spokesperson of Archdiocese of Palo, said abstinence from meat during the Lenten season is a way to honor the sacrifices of Jesus Christ. A Catholic 14 years of age until death, required to practice abstinence from meat on Fridays after Ash Wednesday and on Good Friday. On the other hand, fasting means Catholics 16 to 60 years old must reduce the amount of food eaten to at least one meal a day. Militante said fasting and abstinence doesn't just refer to food, but on the use of social media, gadgets, and other forms of technology as well. Benguet's capital town has ordered all bars and establishments to stop offering liquor to give way to a solemn observance of Lent. La Trinidad Mayor Romeo Salda imposed a municipal-wide ban on the serving of liquor and alcoholic beverages from midnight of April 17 to noon of April 20. The three-day liquor ban aims to prevent loss of lives and injuries caused by drunkenness. The local government also ordered the lifting of the number coding scheme to accommodate the influx of visitors to the strawberry farms and the vegetable trading post during the Holy Week. Devotees have been flocking to a shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes in Bulacan as one of their destinations this Holy Week. The shrine is not only a solemn place of prayer, but also a site of miracles. Joyce Cudis has this report.
For more than 5 decades, the grotto shrine of the Our Lady of Lourdes in San Juan del Monte, Bulacan, has been a sanctuary for the faithful, especially during the Lenten season. Today, Filipinos still flock at the miraculous site, not only to ask for favors, but to express gratitude as well. On February 11, 1965, Anita Guanzon led the inauguration of the Lourdes Shrine Complex in Barrio Gaya-Gaya. It was after almost 4 years of hard and back-breaking work that the exact replica of the grotto at Lourdes, France, Anita's Testament of Faith, was completed in the Philippines.
In 1961, around June, my mother was discovered to have cancer that is all over her body. So my daddy and my sister went to Lourdes, France for 20 days. In one of those 20 days, ang mami ko biglang tumayo. Biglang-bigla talagang miracle. Walang ni sign na nagkaroon siya ng cancer. Yung crave na yan, pinagawa niya para dun sa mga taong may sakit na walang pera magpunta sa Lourdes, France na may benefit.
Some of the visitors were those who were cured of illnesses or whose loved ones were granted miracles. Beside the shrine is a miraculous spring that brings hope to those who are spiritually and physically sick. And apart from bringing families together, the Our Lady of Lourdes also gathers spiritual groups that dedicate their healing powers to the divinities.
Pinausap niya ako na pupuntahan ko siya lagi dito ng araw ng Martes Santo. Yun ang binigay niyang araw, kaya lagi ako nagpupunta kasi yun daw ang panahon na para ako'y manghiling sa kanya, 10 na mga kasama ko.
Kami, kung hindi namin isasagawa yan, parang bumibigat sa amin sa buhay namin. Yan naman sa makabutuang buong mithi namin makatulong sa kapwa. Mas mainam na yung nakakatulong ka kaysa ikaw yung tinutulungan.
The pilgrimage site is continuously visited by thousands of Catholic devotees each year, and as the time passes by, more structures and items for the church are donated by the faithful who have claimed to have received their miracles from God. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Goodies.
The province of Guimaras is eyeing the title of becoming the Lenten capital of Western Visayas. 5 municipalities of the province are observing integrated Lenten festival celebrations. These are the Worship Festival in the town of Buena Vista, Pamalandong sa Tamborong in San Lorenzo, and Pagtaltal in Jordan. The Worship Festival does a reenactment of the entry of Jesus to Jerusalem. It culminates with another celebration on Black Saturday. The Pamalandong in San Lorenzo showcases the way of the cross in life-size images. Pilgrims have options whether to trek the Balaan Bukid in Jordan, Guimaras, or to visit San Lorenzo. The Pagtaltal of Jordan, held on Friday, portrays the life of Jesus Christ, starting with a street procession that will culminate atop the Balaan Bukid. The local tourism office says the events are integrated so visitors can witness at least one celebration when they arrive. Devotees seeking to scale Mount Banahaw are still barred from setting foot into the mystical mountain. Meanwhile, the DENR urges Catholics to lay off eating tawilis this Holy Week. More on these and other news from the provinces from Janice Cabe.
In Laguna, some areas of the Mount Banahaw San Cristobal protected landscape remain closed to the public this Holy Week. The protected area is not yet fully recovered despite the imposition of the 15-year restriction on public access. The closure will remain until barangays on its slopes are prepared to welcome and handle visitors. Meanwhile, Catholics are urged to exclude eating tawilis this Holy Week. The DENR said the closed season for tawilis, which is harvested at Taal Lake, is still in effect until April 30. This is to provide breeding time for tawilis. In Dumaguete City, Bishop Julito Cortez of the Diocese of Dumaguete called on the clergy to fight fake news and proclaim the truth this Holy Week. Cortez likened the proliferation of fake news to the situation of Jesus Christ, who was a victim of false information spread against him by those who wanted him dead. He also highlighted the need for the people to seek the truth, especially as the country will once again be choosing their political leaders in the May 13 elections. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
Up next, state colleges and universities that will open classes in June may expect delays in tuition reimbursements. Look back at the essence of the Lenten season and learn how to spend the rest of the Holy Week in a heartfelt and meaningful manner. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
There have been many false reports in the international media and foreign audiences. They've been bombarded with stories which have no basis in fact nor in law, especially regarding the drug war and many other issues. It appears that media, the biased ones, would focus on stories which have negative impact on our government. But the fact of the matter is, this administration of the president has so many accomplishments. This program of yours is a good opportunity to, like any program that has an international audience, to present the true state of the nation of this country. The unblemished truth, and not the false stories, the false narratives that have reached them. And unfortunately, they believe hook, line, and sinker.
Public colleges and universities which will choose to retain their class opening in June may experience delays in tuition and miscellaneous fees reimbursements from the government. CHED Chairperson Prospero de Vera explained the timelines are not synchronized as compared to schools whose classes will start in August. He says delayed reimbursements can affect not only the operations of concerned colleges and universities, but also the services they offer to students. He clarified that the Commission has no authority to command higher education institutions to move the start of their classes to August. On April 5, CHED issued a memorandum enjoining local universities and colleges and SUCs to shift their academic calendar to start from June to August. All the state universities and colleges in Regions 6 and 8 changed their calendars 2 months before the memorandum came out. And in our foreign news, elections in Indonesia began as polling stations opened to select a new president and members of the parliament. Voters in the eastern province of Papua lined up to cast their ballots at 7 a.m. local time, which is 2 hours ahead of Jakarta. The presidential election pits incumbent President Joko Widodo against his populist challenger Prabowo Subianto. Widodo picks Muslim cleric Ma'aruf Amin as running mate, while former General Subianto pairs with former businessman and Deputy Governor of Jakarta, Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno. Widodo emphasizes the importance of more economic stability and business-friendly environment, while Prabowo is apt to approach more protectionism to champion people's prosperity. Over 245,000 candidates supported by 60 national political parties and 4 local parties are vying for more than 20,000 seats in the parliamentary elections. In sports, the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority is calling volunteers to help in the 30th Southeast Asian Games on November 30 to December 10. SBMA Chair Wilma Aisma made the call after the Philippine Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee announced the need for some 12,000 volunteers for the regional spectacle. The volunteers will be mobilized for the games in Metro Manila, Subic, Clark Freeport, and other venues to help run the country's hosting of the sports meet. The volunteers will be provided with uniforms, transportation allowance, and meals for an 8-hour shift. Those interested to join the SEA Games volunteer program in Subic may apply online through the SBMA website starting May 15. The Holy Week is a time of devotion for Catholics, but because it's also vacation time for most Filipinos, Lenten activities are almost neglected. Father Jerry Orbos has some tips to help people get back on track in making the observance of Holy Week more worthwhile. Choice Kudis has the story.
As a Catholic nation, the Philippines expresses total devotion to activities leading up to Easter Sunday. However, only a few observe the activities of the Holy Week by heart. Hence the question, how can we make our Holy Week truly holy? Father Jerry Orbos, director of the Society of the Divine Word Mission Office, presented a guide for its proper observation. First, if you are moving away from God, go back to the path leading to His direction. Making a good confession or an act of contrition will be a good start, and all it takes are humility and honesty to admit that you made a mistake. Next, remove your anger and forgive. Orbos said to forgive is to acknowledge God's forgiveness to ourselves and doing the same for others. Third, make good deeds to those who are suffering or who have bigger problems than us. There is always a good thing that we can do to them to ease their burden. Fourth, express your love. There are a lot of ways to channel the love of Jesus Christ. For devotees, it includes fasting, abstinence, prayers, the Stations of the Cross, and Visita Iglesia. Another way is to give people dearest to us our time, starting of course with our family. Our boss also clarified that whatever our expressions of love are, we must do them from the heart. Then, abandon your vices. For men, it could be alcohol, women, and gambling. And for women, it may be being a gossiper, a shrew, or a nagger. We must remind ourselves that whatever vices and bad habits we have, we must unload them from ourselves and sin no more. Finally, sacrifice as a way to relate to Christ's actions. Sacrifice with a smile and in secret. Our boss said God loves a cheerful giver. Also, there is no reward for people who do things to be praised or be lauded by others as their motivation. Whatever good we do must be between ourselves and God alone. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
The DPWH seeks to finish the cleanup and dredging of Manila Bay by July. Catholics are reminded to practice fasting and abstain from meat in observance of the Lenten season. A shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes in Bulacan attracts devotees seeking miracles. And learn how to spend the rest of the Holy Week in a heartfelt and meaningful way.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And as we observe the Holy Week, we remind our Catholic brethren to reflect on Holy Thursday and Good Friday. We will see you again on Monday when we resume our broadcast. Have a blessed and meaningful Holy Week. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.